Hi everybody, welcome to Tranquil Tuesdays. Today is an exciting day. My new book is coming out today, so I thought I think it's just starting. I'm not used to this new Facebook platform. It jumps around on me. I thought rather than having a guest in to our group today that I would come on and chat a little bit, not so much about the book, Create Calm, but I wanted to share with you the experience of dreaming and wishing and thinking like, oh, I wish I could write a book. That would be really cool. I want to write a book. And then what the experience was like for me to go through actually launching a book. And not so much from a book perspective specifically, but any dream, anything that you want for your life, how to start to think about turning that into a real thing that you have. And yeah, so if you have questions for me as we chat today, throw them in the comment box and let's talk about dreaming. So the first thing when you talk about dreaming is you need a space to dream. If you don't have any time in your life to think about what it is that you want, you're always rushing from moment to moment and all of your space is taken up with taking care of yourself, taking care of others, and just getting your own needs met, and you're very busy, it's difficult to even start to think beyond the here and the now. And I think that that's the first step to creating something different, is giving yourself some space to even imagine that, and start to think about what would this be like? What would I like? And so whether that is, a journaling practice or a dream board or anything that's creative, it starts with the space of actually giving yourself permission, on an internal level, but then also creating the space to do that on a structural level of what is it that I want? When you find that thing that you're like, oh, I really want to do this, example, I wanted to write a book, start to understand, like, why is that my heart's desire? Like, what is it about that that really gets me excited? So for me, writing a book was something that I'd had in my heart since I was young. I think probably around 12 was when I wanted to write a book. And so thinking about that and including that in my planning was really helpful. And then, moving deeper. So why do I want to write this book? Well, I want to help people. I want to help people feel less anxious. And I know that not everyone can come and see me in my clinical practice. I'm only one person. If I write a book, then more people can read it, more people can hopefully make changes in their life, and then they can be more calm, less stressed, less overwhelmed, and have less anxiety. And so understanding that that's why I wanted to write this book was really helpful in then keeping me motivated and moving forward with the next steps. And I would definitely encourage that as a first step once you've picked your goal or your dream, is to take time to really meditate on, why do I want this? Why is this important to me? Why this dream and not another dream? Someone else might not want to write a book. That's not your dream. Maybe your dream is that you want to have children, or your dream is you want, to be in a certain profession, or you want to get really good at making cupcakes. Like, I don't know what your dream is. Only you know. And then the second part is to then say, like, well, why do I want that? And to do that introspective work. Then the next thing is really jumping in. So I'm gonna write a book on my goal list. So every year I use this planner. It's called an Epic planner, and it has you set 6 goals for your year. And in my first Epic planner, I wrote down, write a book. And I don't think I really had that like heart's desire understanding of why I wanted to write a book, but I knew it was something I wanted to do. And writing that down, committing to that, saying, yes, I'm going to write a book was helpful. And I started thinking about writing a book and researching how do you write a book and looking at publishers and trying to understand how I could get my book out into the world and what the different options are. And through that process, I was able to do my workbook. I met other local authors and just reminding myself that like, oh, this is a thing that I want to do, and reviewing those goals on a regular basis helped me jump in and really commit to this idea that I was going to have a published book. But that only took me so far. Writing it down, saying, I'm going to write a book, telling everybody this is the year I write a book, only took me so far, because what I needed next was a plan. And this is where I'm going to just shout out to Chandler Bolt and his book Published. I had the opportunity to hear him speak in the fall, and he was up on stage and he said something that really changed the whoa! It really changed the trajectory of this book and really accelerated it, because he said, who here has an online program? And I put up my hand. And he said, who here has a book? And I put my hand down. And he said, all of you that had your hand up, that have an online program, you have a book. You just don't know it. And then he went on to explain his methodology for turning your online program into a book. And then I was able to have a game plan. And I took his book and I followed step by step every single thing that he told me to do. And I created my plan for getting Create Calm published. And I think it's important when we want to do something, when we're really committed, when we said that, yes, this is something that I'm going to do, to then find someone who's done it. Ask yourself, who's done this? Like, who's achieved this? And make a game plan. So there's a lot of resources. It doesn't have to be complicated or expensive to come up with a game plan. Sometimes it's just looking at YouTube videos. It's asking your friends and family, hey, do you know anybody that's written a book or makes really amazing cupcakes? And then asking them, oh, hey, what recipes do you use? Or how did you go about doing that? And building yourself a plan. So having a game plan really, for me, made the difference between having a book that I'd written and I'd had printed and it was in my clinic, but it wasn't a published book. It was just a workbook. And I was giving it to my patients and I was like, I made this book. And it was a workbook and it was useful. But it wasn't the fullest goals of what I had for my dream. And getting a game plan really set that on fire. And help get me to where I am today. And I see that with people in my practice with their health goals as well, right? You might be saying like, oh, I really want to do, it doesn't even matter what it is, but I really want to run 10K. If you don't have a plan in place for how you're going to be able to do that, I really want to eat family dinners, but you don't know how you're going to fit it in with your commute. If you don't have a plan for managing that, you don't get there. So having a game plan was the third key piece. The last thing, the second last thing, I've got two more tips for turning dreams into reality, is time blocking, managing your schedule. So this is a little bit related to the game plan piece, but for me, the game plan is what steps I needed to take. What the time blocking did was allow me the space to actually plan them. So I know if you guys are like hanging with me on Instagram, you've probably seen pictures of my planner. I like to post it, but it has been just completely life-changing to take the time and block in what I need to do. And so I go a little overboard. I like highlight the whole thing with different colors for different types of activities, but I put in project time. And it's different than my regular work time. It's different than my administrative time. It's different than the time I spend taking care of my family. And that is, I usually try for about 10 hours a week, but it doesn't matter how much time you have. You can dedicate any amount of time. And I set goals to progress these projects forward. So specifically, focusing on the book, that was book time. And that's going to continue to be book time because I still have the audiobook to finish recording. So that's going to be ongoing project time for me as I work to finish everything that I wanted to finish about this project. And without that time, I don't get anything done. So weeks that I don't time block the book, or I didn't time block the book, like I just didn't work on it because it's not urgent, and it just didn't happen. So there were 2 months, I think January, February, or maybe February, March, I didn't work on this book. It could have been out a lot sooner. But there were other things that I was focusing on, and I wasn't scheduling that project time. So definitely the time blocking is a piece. And I think we can be realistic that there were other things happening in March that got in the way of my time blocking, like a pandemic, and I moved. So that took up some time. But that leads me to the last thing that I wanted to share about turning your dreams into reality, which is asking for and accepting help. Friends, there is just no way that this would have been here if I hadn't asked for help. And asking for help has been a long-term journey of mine, where I've been continually working on myself in terms of getting better at asking for help, and then also accepting the help offered to me. There was a time in my life where I felt like if I didn't do it by myself, that it didn't count, that it wasn't like a real accomplishment. And that's just not true. And there's no way for me to do and to spend more time doing what I'm best at if I don't allow other people to help me and to do things in the way that they are best at. And so during this time, I have asked my husband, like he's taking a vacation day from work today. So I asked him to take some time off work so that I could be 100% focused on the book launch today. And if I didn't ask for that, he probably wouldn't have taken that day off, and then I would have my daughter in here right now, and I might not be able to do this live and talk to you. And so asking for those kind of things really, really makes a difference. I had a whole team of people, supporting this book, sharing this book. Many of you are in this group as well, and I'm so grateful. But I know that a lot of people probably wouldn't have done that if I didn't say, hey, I'm releasing a book. Would you read it? Would you help me by sharing about it? If I don't ask for that, people aren't going to know that that's what I'd like. And then when people say, oh, I'd love to help you, with your book by sharing it on my blog, or having you on to speak on my Instagram or on my podcast, if I don't say, yes, that would be great, thank you so much, that would help, then I don't get the benefits of that, and I'm not letting them help me. And that's not to say you have to take every opportunity that's offered for you. You definitely want to check in with your own boundaries and your own goals, but make sure that you're not taking too much ownership and all the responsibilities on your shoulders, and turning down things that would be really good and helpful for you just from a sense of pride. Because asking and accepting for help is the number one way that this dream of mine, to have this book, got turned into the reality. So that's what I wanted to share. I know that today's a little bit shorter than our normal interviews. I mostly just don't want to talk for 20 to 30 minutes, just me. It's a long time. So hopefully this was helpful for you. If you haven't had a chance to check out the book yet, I'll put the link below this video, and head over to Amazon. As we are chatting right now, the book's climbing the charts in the mental health category, and if you have a chance to download it today, I would so appreciate your support as one of the many people that are helping make this book a success so we can reach even more people. I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. And if you have any questions about the methods that I talked about for turning your dream into something that's real, or questions about the book, leave them in the comments below, and I'll be checking back throughout the day today. All right, have a great day, guys. Bye.